So in this video, I wanted to discuss a topic that I have had in my mind for quite a long time now. You see, I believe that the things people of power tell us about emissions aren't all that accurate. I think that cars like the Land Cruiser behind me are more environmentally friendly than you think, and that electric cars aren't as environmentally friendly as you think. There are definitely benefits to electric cars, and in many ways they are better for the environment, but they aren't as good as people make them to be. In this video, I am going to take the opportunity of being in this wonderful natural place where the only thing you can hear are birds to explain my thought on this topic. To me it makes sense, to you it might not. It is a free world, so feel free to comment down below and leave your opinion. In any case, what I was thinking is the following. A Land Cruiser or any other old school reliable car that was made to last has been produced 25 years ago. This Land Cruiser behind me has been produced nearly 26 years ago, and is still on the road, and it is still functioning properly and can still function properly for at least another decade. So this car has been produced once, and it has been in use ever since it has been produced. So there was no need for another car to be produced. There was no need for new metal to be processed. There was no need for new plastic to be processed. There was no need for factories to produce the car, for ships to ship the car, and there was also no environmental damage made in discarding the car. So the idea here is build once and use for a long time. Our world these days doesn't seem to work that way. We live in a disposable world. Everything you use isn't really made to last all that long and is made to be replaced with the newest and greatest. And the same is true for cars, and especially electric cars. Most electric cars, most people who buy electric cars typically get them on leasing plans, so they keep them roughly 3 to 5 years. You rarely hear anyone keep an electric car for much longer than that. So all the environmental friendly people who are promoting a clean lifestyle and all of the related modern world ideas are buying a car, they use it for a bit, they trade it in, they get another car, they use it for a bit, they trade it in, they get another car, and it keeps going on and on and on. So every time a new car needs to be produced in order for them to change the car that they haven't even used for all that long. So my idea here is actually rather simple. If you do the math, an old car that has been on the road for 25 years and compared to a new car that has been replaced every 5 years with a new car, but that new car has lower emissions, if you compare the two over 25-year period, the emissions emitted won't be that different compared to the old diesel and the new car that has been replaced 5 times during that time period. Because with the old car, you only have the cost of production emissions once. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that everyone should buy a car and keep it for 25 years. The world needs to move on, technology moves on, and if everyone keeps their car for 25 years and if manufacturers promote that type of behavior, then growth and innovation will be much slower. But I think the world needs to find a middle place. The current rate of changing vehicles and things in general, I mean even phones, cameras, computers, everything gets changed very, very quickly. I think we need to find a middle ground between keeping things for longer but also being open to new ideas and to innovations. For example, new cars, when you buy a new car, there can be some kind of agreement that you should keep the car for a certain time period, and that when you change the car, there could be some kind of recycling process, which I know companies are working on, but this isn't something that has been implemented yet. Or simply, if you buy a car and get a new one within 5 years, there could be some kind of additional tax to make it a bit more difficult to change cars so often. You get the idea. The point here is to reduce the consumerism of the modern world. It's kind of sad to see governments push away old vehicles because I think that old cars, and especially cars that were made for a reason, like the Land Cruiser, the old Land Rovers, the Jeeps, they kind of reflect the culture of the country they were made in. For example, the Land Cruiser is known for its reliability, for attention to detail. It is known as a machine that will do what you need it to do, and in most cases will do it really well. And this is exactly the way Japanese people work and Japan as a country works. Jeeps are more fun, they are more playful, if you want to put it that way. They are made for tough trails, for having fun in nature, which is more of the American way, I guess. Land Rovers, they are a bit disconnected from their country. I'm not sure how they fit in with England because Land Rovers have a lot of character, but they don't work all that well every time. They are the history of the countries. They are a screenshot of the economy of a certain country at a certain time period. So, for example, in the 1990s, Japan built some of the best cars ever made. And in the 1990s, Japan, as far as I know, was in a pretty good place. In addition to that, you also have the fact that old cars are irreplaceable in many ways. For some people, which definitely isn't the majority, and it is definitely the minority of vehicle owners, old cars serve a certain purpose. I love old cars because they are easy to fix. You can fix them at home. I enjoy working on my own stuff. I enjoy maintaining my own cars because even if something does go wrong, when I'm outside, when I'm on a trip on the middle of nowhere, I know my car well. I can fix it right there and continue my journey. New cars have lost this. New cars need electronic devices to get them fixed, and they're far more complicated than old cars, and you can't depend on them on really extreme and really remote trips, which I know, again, this is the minority of people. Not everyone wants to take a car and drive it across the Australian desert or across Africa, but you get the point. Even if you're not driving across Africa or Australia, the idea of having a simple car, to me, is far better than knowing that I have a car that if something goes wrong with it, it will be very difficult to get it fixed. Even in Europe, for example, on my trip to Greece last year, if something went wrong with my car in the villages, in the mountains of Greece, it would have definitely taken a couple of days, maybe even 3 or 4 days to get it back on the road if it was a new complicated car. However, the old Discovery, I could just drive into a garage or an old mechanic and I would find a way to get it going again. New cars aren't like this. So there is something liberating about driving an old and simple car. I think that the environmental issue and the environmental focus as a whole is a bit too car industry heavy, because the car industry is the easiest target. This is why everyone is going towards cars. Cars do make a significant percentage of the emissions in the atmosphere. However, ships, planes, mining, farming, there are many other things that contribute to our environmental issues, and I don't think that eliminating the old and more polluting vehicles from the road will fix our issues. I think there are far more important things to focus on than the old diesel Land Cruisers and even the old sports cars that people who love cars tend to enjoy to drive. I'm not sure if my message here was clear. It might have been a bit all over the place. However, if you did understand it, please leave a comment down below. let me know what your opinion on this is. I may be wrong, I may be right. I think there is some logic to my idea here, and I would definitely be interested to know your opinion. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.